Hey there, fellow space adventurers. Welcome back to Usof Reacts. Today, we're diving into the cosmic craziness of Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy Vol. 2. So, buckle up and let's blast off. Released in 2017 and directed by James Gunn, Guardians of the Galaxy Vol. 2 continues the thrilling adventures of our favorite misfit heroes. The movie is set to the backdrop of the awesome mixtape number 2 and explores the team's newfound family dynamics, while they unravel the mysteries of Peter Quill's true parentage. The movie kicks off with the Guardians battling an interdimensional monster, the Obelisk, for the sovereign race. As a reward, they're given custody of Nebula, who they plan to turn in for a bounty. But things go sideways when Rocket steals some of the Sovereign's precious batteries, leading to a high-speed space chase. Enter Ego, played by Kurt Russell, who reveals himself as Peter Quill's long-lost father. He takes Peter, Gamora, and Drax to his home planet, where he explains that he's a celestial and has big plans for the universe. Meanwhile, Rocket, Groot, and Nebula are captured by the Ravagers, led by the mutinous Taserface. Yondu, now in disgrace among the Ravagers, teams up with Rocket to escape. And we get to see a softer side of Yondu and a deeper bond forming between him and Rocket, as the Guardians uncover Ego's true intentions to terraform planets. Using the energy from his progeny, it's a race against time to stop him. The team bands together, and with the help of Mantis, a new ally, they confront Ego in an epic showdown. Let's talk characters. Pratt as Star-Lord brings his signature charm and humor. Saldana's Gamora continues to be the badass warrior we love. Bautista's Drax delivers hilarious one-liners. Bradley Cooper's Rocket shows vulnerability, and Vin Diesel's baby Groot is simply adorable. One of the most touching moments is Yondu's sacrifice to save Peter. Michael Rooker gives a standout performance, adding layers of complexity to Yondu's character. The visuals in Guardians of the Galaxy Vol. 2 are spectacular, with vibrant colors and imaginative settings. The use of CGI brings Ego's planet and the space battles to life in a truly mesmerizing way. And let's not forget the music. The soundtrack, featuring hits like Mr. Blue Sky and The Chain, perfectly complements the film's tone and adds to its unique charm. The Guardians struggle to keep together as a team while dealing with their personal family issues. Notably, Star-Lord's encounter with his father, the ambitious celestial being Ego. After saving Xandar from Ronan's wrath, the Guardians are now recognized as heroes. Now the team must help their leader, Star-Lord, uncover the truth behind his true heritage. Along the way, old FOs turn to allies and betrayal is blooming. And the Guardians find they are up against a devastating new menace who is out to rule the galaxy. Having saved the cosmos after the events of Guardians of the Galaxy 2014, the Star-Lord's now famous intergalactic defenders find themselves with their backs to the wall after the Battle of Xandar. And having failed to protect the Annulax batteries, the most potent source of energy in the entire universe, the Guardians have made a new enemy. Aisha, the Golden High Priestess of the technologically advanced, genetically engineered extragalactic race known as the Sovereign. To top it all, the team has a chance encounter with a mysterious being named Ego and a hard-as-nails character from the past. With their lives hanging by a thread, can the Guardians of the Galaxy save the world for the second time? In 1980, Peter's father Ego visited Earth and fell in love with Peter's mother Laura Haddock. In 2014, Peter Quill Pratt, the half-human, half-celestial leader of the Guardians of the Galaxy who was abducted from Earth as a child and raised by a group of alien thieves and smugglers called the Ravagers. Gamora Saldana, a member of the Guardians and an orphan from an alien world who seeks redemption for her past crimes. She was trained by Thanos to be his personal assassin, Drax Bautista, a member of the Guardians and highly skilled warrior in search for vengeance against Thanos for his family's slaughter. Rocket Bradley Cooper, a member of the Guardians who is a genetically modified raccoon bounty hunter and mercenary, who is also a master of weapons and military tactics, and Baby Groot Vin Diesel, a member of the Guardians who is a tree-like humanoid and the accomplice of Rocket, are renowned as the Guardians of the Galaxy. Aisha Elizabeth Debicki, the Golden High Priestess and the leader of the Sovereign People, a genetically engineered race who are gold and perfect and wanting to be physically and mentally impeccable. Leader of the Sovereign race, has the Guardians protect valuable batteries from an interdimensional monster in exchange for Gamora's estranged sister Nebula Karen Gillan, an adopted daughter of Thanos who was raised with Gamora as siblings, and a reluctant member of the Guardians who was caught attempting to steal the batteries. The Guardians stop the attack and kill the beast when Drax realizes that the hide of the beast is too thick to cut from the outside. He allows himself to be swallowed, so he can cut the beast from the inside. That does not work, and Gamora finds a weak spot on the skin, and runs the sword from there to the entire length of its body, killing the beast and freeing Drax. The Guardians leave with Nebula. After the Sovereign find that Rocket stole some batteries for himself, the Sovereign attacks the Guardians' ship with a fleet of drones. The drones are destroyed by a mysterious figure, but the Guardians crash land on a nearby planet named Burhurt. The figure reveals himself as Quill's father, Ego Kurt Russell. He invites Quill, Gamora, and Drax to his home planet, while Rocket and Groot remain behind to repair the ship and guard Nebula. Aisha hires Yondu Udonta Michael Rooker, a blue-skinned buccaneer who is the leader of the Ravagers, a fatherly figure to Quill, and member of the Guardians and his crew, who have been exiled from the Greater Ravager community for child trafficking, to recapture the Guardians. The Ravager community is led by Staker, who had banished Yondu. Yondu claims that he didn't know that he was being used for trafficking kids. The Ravagers led by Yondu capture Rocket, but when Yondu hesitates to turn over Quill by refusing to reveal Quill's location to the Sovereign and instead taking Rocket's offer of taking the batteries and selling them on the open market, whom he raised, his lieutenant Taserface Chris Sullivan leads a mutiny with help from Nebula. Taserface imprisons Rocket and Yondu aboard Yondu's ship and executes his loyalists. Nebula tricks Groot into freeing her, so she can help Rocket, but Nebula leaves to track down and kill Gamora, whom she blames for all the torture inflicted on her by their father, Thanos. Thanos would make Gamora and Nebula battle each other, and every time Nebula lost, he would replace one part of her with a robotic aperture, slowly and painfully turning her into a half-machine. Hence, Nebula wants to kill Gamora and Thanos. While imprisoned, Rocket and Yondu bond. Rocket is curious as to why Yondu did not deliver Quill to Ego, but Yondu evades the question. Groot and Yondu's loyalist Kraglin Sean Gunn free Rocket and Yondu, and they destroy the ship and its crew as they escape, though not before Taserface warns the Sovereign. Ego, a godlike celestial that manipulated the matter around its consciousness to form his home planet, explains that he projected a humanoid guise to travel the universe and discover a purpose, eventually falling in love with Quill's mother Meredith. Ego hired Yondu to collect the young Quill after Meredith's death, but the boy was never delivered, and Ego has been searching for his son ever since. He teaches Quill to manipulate their celestial power. Nebula arrives at Ego's planet and tries to kill Gamora, but the pair reach an uneasy alliance when they discover caverns filled with skeletal remains. Ego reveals to Quill that in his travels he planted seedlings on thousands of worlds which can terraform them into new extensions of himself, but they can only be activated by the combined power of two celestials. To that end, he impregnated countless women and hired Yondu to collect the children, but killed them all when they failed to access the celestial power. Under the influence of Ego's power, Quill helps him activate the seedlings which begin to consume every world. However, Quill fights back when Ego reveals that he caused Meredith's death due to the distraction she posed. Mantis Palm Klementieff, Ego's naive empath servant, grows close to Drax and warns him of Ego's plan. Gamora and Nebula also learn of the plan just as Rocket, Yondu, Groot and Kraglin arrive. the reunited Guardians reach Ego's brain at the planet's core and fight the Sovereign's arriving drones. Rocket makes a bomb using the stolen batteries, which Groot plants on Ego's brain. Quill battles Ego with his newfound celestial powers in order to distract him enough to allow the other Guardians and Mantis to escape. The bomb explodes, killing Ego and disintegrating the planet. Yondu sacrifices himself to save Quill, who realizes that the reason Yondu kept him was to spare him from the fate of Ego's other progeny, and that Yondu was Quill's true daddy. Having reconciled with Gamora, Nebula still chooses to leave and attempt to kill Thanos. The Guardians hold a funeral for Yondu, which is attended by dozens of Ravager ships, acknowledging Yondu's sacrifice and accepting him again as a Ravager. In a series of mid- and post-credit scenes, Kraglin takes up Yondu's telekinetic arrow and control fin. Ravager leader Staker Ogre Sylvester Stallone reunites with his ex-teammates. Aisha creates a new artificial being with whom she plans to destroy the Guardians, naming him Adam. Groot starts growing back to normal size, exhibiting typical teenage behavior in the process, while a group of uninterested watchers listen to their informant discussing several experiences on Earth. Despite being a huge comic book nerd, I was not familiar with the Guardians before the first movie came out. I did some Googling, and upon learning about this sci-fi superhero team consisting of a talking raccoon and tree man, I was hardly impressed. I finally got round to watching the first film and was blown away. It had a remarkable charm that even the other Marvel titles didn't have. It was filled with great humor, memorable moments, and fit into the Marvel Universe long-running story perfectly. Because of this, I pumped my expectations up high for the sequel to a degree, where it was almost guaranteed to fail, yet somehow, someway it didn't. Not only did it meet my expectations, but it exceeded them. G2 is amazing. Full of the same 5-star humor, being a visual treat, and once again with an excellent soundtrack, the film gripped me from the outset and delivered that charm all over again. This time including several industry veterans, including Kurt Russell, who has been on great form since his return, and Sylvester Stallone. They fit in well and don't detract from the franchise as I feared they might, with cameo appearances along the way from the likes of Farscape 1999. Lead Ben Browder to industry legend Seth Green as Howard the Duck. This is a fun roller coaster ride that left me positively gagging for more. This is one of those films I feel like I could rant about in a positive way for a while, and so I'm going to resist the urge and merely say that Guardians 2 is a contender for the best Marvel movie, contested only by the first Avengers film. Overall, Guardians of the Galaxy Vol. 2 is a fantastic sequel that deepens character relationships, delivers stunning visuals, and keeps us entertained with its humor and heart. What did you think of Guardians of the Galaxy Vol. 2? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this review, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell for more awesome content. Until next time, stay cosmic.